Parents shouldn't snoop on their kids' writing without reason, but there's probably no better way to understand their ambition in life than coming across a bucket list that the kids have scribbled down with crayon. A 13-year-old's bucket list is going viral online. Here it is, all right? Coming in number 1 on the bucket list, get a full taxidermied alligator. I like this kid already, all right? He also wants to go to New Zealand. That's number 2 on the list. Discover a new species at number 4 on his bucket list. He also wants to eat an octopus, get a cool Jeep. At number 8, he wants to have a YouTube channel, followed by prove the existence of goblins, legally changing his name, meet an alien, become a millionaire, and finally on this 13-year-old's list, he wants to beat up someone. No offense to your brilliant kid, but this little guy is going places, specifically New Zealand. Many of these are actually achievable. Run the table there, Mr. Dungle Pants. Would you say you act like a baby when you get a cold? When the sniffles hit, does the drama kind of amp up for some people? 1/3 of couples say their partner acts like a baby when they're sick. This might mean you have to do everything, running errands for them or just waiting on them hand and foot, just sitting there in their bed sick with a bell. Some sick people are really out of it. And a list of extreme things people have done when they're sick include forgetting to make coffee, forgetting to pick up kids from school, and forgetting why they even left the house. Also putting their shoes in the refrigerator, driving with a pizza on the roof of a car. Must have been a lot of Sudafed you took for that one. Going to work on your day off and then accidentally throwing their phone away with the trash. So at least 1/3 of people say that their partner acts like a baby when they're sick. Well, this past Friday was Quitter's Day. That's when people are most likely to abandon their New Year's resolution. But if you want to pretend you're still sticking to your diet, the good folks at Arby's have got you covered. They're running a promo in 5 cities this week called New Year, Same You, and it just added salad to their menu, but not really. See, they added 3 menu items that sound healthy, but they're really not. If you step up to the counter and order a salad with dressing, this week you're going to get a double beef and cheddar sandwich. If you order a green smoothie, you're going to get a milkshake. If you order steamed vegetables, you're getting curly fries. And the idea is you can cheat, but get around it on a technicality, okay? If anyone asks, you can say, hey, all I had for lunch was a salad and some steamed veggies. And technically, you're not lying, right? If you go to any Arby's, you'll still have to tell your spouse that all you had for lunch was a big bag of saturated fat. Everyone loved Betty White except for a lot of people who actually knew her. Seriously, though, Betty had a reputation for not being the nicest person behind the scenes. Sally Struthers is adding to that reputation. You may remember Sally Struthers from the classic 70s sitcom All in the Family, or for those Save the Children ads, for just pennies a day. Anyway, Sally once went to Betty's house with some other people to work on a pilot for a game show, and Betty's housekeeper brought out a plate of cookies. And while Sally reached for one of the cookies, Betty told her, quote, "Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you, dear. You don't need a cookie." Well, Sally says, quote, "She totally fat-shamed me in front of the rest of the people in the room, and I thought, gosh, that's not nice." Sally says Betty was a very passive-aggressive woman, adding, quote, "I know everybody loved her. They loved her so much. I didn't have such a great experience with her." You know who Sally did love, though? B. Arthur. Yeah, she called her a force of nature and, quote, filthier than a drunken sailor. Well, here's the latest on celebrities and the LA wildfires. Leonardo DiCaprio is giving $1 million, which will go to various charities. The Eagles, the rock band, not the NFL team with a despicable fan base, are donating $2.5 million to the upcoming Fire Aid benefit concert. There's no word on if they'll be performing, though. Dave Grohl spent his 56th birthday making chili for firefighters and victims. YouTube and Google are pitching in $15 million. State Farm, California's largest insurer, canceled a planned Super Bowl ad. Remember last year's commercial started with Arnold Schwarzenegger rescuing puppies from a burning house. I don't think that one would go over that well this year. But hey, look everybody, the celebrities are helping. If you asked your 7th grader what their dream job would be, they probably won't say electrophysiologist or something. They're probably going to say YouTuber or rapper or sandwich artist at Subway. I always wanted to grow up and be a Subway sandwich artist like you, Dad. New research came up with a list of the top dream jobs worldwide, and they did it by looking into targeted online search results for stuff like how to be a blank, right? In the end, the top dream job across the entire world was pilot. And the appeal apparently is commercial flying because the #1 dream job in America is flight attendant. Now, in Canada, Australia, and India, the number one dream job is DJ. But this one really got me. In Bulgaria, the number one dream job is, drumroll please, taxi driver. For real. They're really aiming high when it comes to career choices there in Bulgaria. Well, here's a dirty little secret. Parents do have a favorite child. And if you're wondering if it's you, maybe you're the chosen one. A study analyzed data from over 19,000 participants and found that parents do treat their children differently. And the way they chose their favorites is more systematic than you might think. Here are the 5 interesting takeaways, all right? Both mothers and fathers tend to favor daughters. Parents favor children who demonstrate responsibility and organization in their daily lives, too. Agreeable children are more likely to be favored. Birth order matters, too, but not for favoritism. Parents tend to give older siblings more autonomy. Many aspects of parental favoritism are more subtle than you think. For example, in some cases, parents acknowledge treating one child more favorably, but those children themselves didn't report noticing really any differences in the treatment. Does that mean I'm not the favorite? Here's a question for you today. How many Gen Zers does it take to change a light bulb? Sounds kind of like a joke, right? But it's a legitimate question. In a new survey, 1 in 5 people between the ages of 18 and 27 claimed they couldn't change a light bulb. They would just hire someone else to do it, especially if it was a ceiling light, because, going up a ladder can be too dangerous, right? So is this another sign of the times? It's probably laziness. The report found that Gen Zers are spending more than $1,500 a year on average, calling in pros to do basic jobs they could probably do themselves. That's 5 times what boomers spend on stuff like that. And it's not a changing light bulbs thing either. The survey also found that a lot of Gen Zers don't know how to do basic car maintenance, even cleaning their car or hanging picture frames. And some didn't recognize common tools like a wrench. What is that thing? So yeah, 1 in 5 Gen Zers can't even change a light bulb. No, it's not a joke. How addicted is Gen Z to texting? There's a decent chance they'd even use it to say, hand me that pen, right? A poll on an office chit-chat deal found 27% of workers today are more comfortable communicating over text or email than face-to-face. That includes 40% of Gen Z. 48% of us will even do it when sitting near the person that we're texting because, sometimes it's just more convenient, right? 74% overall admitted they struggle to make conversations with coworkers when they run into them in the office kitchen or the elevator. 28% even avoid the kitchen altogether because they worry they'll get into a situation where they'll have to have that chit chat. But in other words, water cooler talk might be dead, even though most of us agree it's beneficial in some ways. 51% think small talk around the office actually improves communication, and 48% thinks it boosts morale. But I'm just going to go ahead and stick to avoiding it altogether. Well, everybody has that one house where holiday decorations linger a little too long, but maybe there's no big deal. According to a new survey, the date when holiday decorations should be taken down is January 16th. That was based on an average among people who believe there should be a deadline, right? 45% of people say there shouldn't be a specific decoration down date. The survey suggests that means people are happy to see the lights and decorations stay up long and into the new year, or in some cases all year. But it seems like kind of a generous interpretation, right? Especially if they're implying that Christmas lights and inflatables should be kept out and active year-round, because that's just dumb. In any event, though, millennials are most chill about decorations staying out, while boomers are least likely to support it. The most dangerous thing about Hot Pockets is usually just burning the roof of your mouth, but this guy really raised the bar on that. There's a guy in Michigan named Daniel Hudson who went into a Dollar General earlier this month and started stuffing Hot Pockets into his pocket. An employee confronted him and said, "Hey man, you can't steal the Hot Pockets." And he started yelling at him, then reached for another pocket and pulled out something a little hotter than a Hot Pocket, packing some heat. He pulled out a gun, so they let him get away. He called the police. They said they knew him and he was actually a regular customer. The cops tracked Daniel down in the break room at his workplace, and guess what? He was eating Hot Pockets and had a pistol in his backpack. He tried telling the cops he didn't mean to steal the Hot Pockets, and the gun fell out when he was trying to put the Hot Pockets back. The police didn't buy any of that. Now he's facing theft and gun charges all over some Hot Pockets. Really packing some heat. Ooh, is this some bad timing? Jessica Simpson and her husband Eric Johnson just announced that they're separated, and now she's trying to sell her home in Los Angeles. And when I say it's a hot market right now, I don't mean that in a good way. In fact, Jessica and the kids have already evacuated. The house was on the market before in September of 2023. It was listed at $22 million. There are no takers, so they pulled it last August. Now it's back on the market for $17.9 million. I guess that $4 million cut is the you could seriously die here discount. Jessica bought the house in 2013 for $11.5 million from none other than Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. Well, it's been 2 weeks since your New Year's resolution to get serious about your diet. And yesterday, you ate half a sleeve of Oreos for lunch, didn't you? Well, you have an excuse. Oreos hid the nutrition info on the back of the packaging. That's the problem, right? The FDA is now proposing that nutrition info be placed on the front of packaged goods, not the whole nutrition info box with all the ingredients and chemicals you can't pronounce. That'd be a smaller box with a snapshot of just 3 things: saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars. There will also be a rating for each, classifying them as low, medium, or high. Now, the idea is this will help consumers make quicker and more accurate assessments of products, possibly without even having to pick them up, This is just a proposal for now, and even if it does get approved later this year, food companies wouldn't be expected to comply until 3 or 4 years after the new policy is adopted. Something tells me this is going to be a lot like having that warning label on cigarettes. That really worked. A video of a woman in Indonesia is trending after she managed to get her nose ring caught in the back of an office chair. So the timing on this list couldn't be any better. What's the silliest way you've ever injured yourself? BuzzFeed recently asked people for stories, and they just posted the highlights. Some of my favorites include a woman who was singing Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid at karaoke, got way into it, and tore her ACL. Another guy said he waxed his floor and tried to do the Tom Cruise slide from Risky Business, but didn't stop and busted his hip on a door frame. On a personal note, I once decided it was a great idea to grill hamburgers inside in the winter and somehow managed to sprain my ankle on a Nerf gun. Just a few of the ways people hurt themselves that are just downright silly. Think you could top that? What are the silliest ways you've ever injured yourself? If you enjoy being patted down by strangers in rubber gloves, do everything on this list next time you fly. An expert in airport management and security came up with a list of unexpected things that can get you flagged by the TSA. Coming at number 1, being dressed wrong for the weather, like having too many layers on during the summer. It could mean you're trying to hide something. Also, yawning a lot. He says that when people are stressed, they tend to want more oxygen. And number 3, not making eye contact. It's another sign you're nervous and have something to hide. Followed by number 4, being extra chatty with the TSA team. If you get patted down because they think you're trying to distract them or something. And number 5, using way too much cologne and perfume. If you're stinky, you're trying to mask the smell of drugs or something. And arguing or being aggressive is a surefire way to get some extra attention. They might search you just to punish you for being an a-hole, So stay calm and just get through the line.